ZABoxingNation, where boxing lives, breathes, and breaks down. Today is September 9th, 2025. And fight fans, we're stacked with massive headlines. The long-awaited Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford mega fight is just days away. Now, the monster anyway is putting his undisputed titles on the line in Japan. And we've got news of Darren Till potentially stepping in the ring with top G Andrew Tate. Plus, some upcoming fights that you need to be prepared for. And as always, your favorite segment on this day in boxing history. Let's break this all down. This weekend, all eyes are on Las Vegas as Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, and 39 big wins coming by way of knockout, takes on undefeated Terrence Bud Crawford, who is 40 wins, 0 losses, and 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. In what's being billed as fight of the century, at stake for this fight, every major super middleweight title, a custom-made Ring Magazine belt worth over $200,000, and a combined purse projected at nearly $200 million. Saul Canelo Alvarez could take home around $150 million, while Terrence Bud Crawford earns a guaranteed $10 million plus pay-per-view upside. But the money is just a backdrop. The real story is legacy. Saul Canelo Alvarez, at just 35 years old, already owns one of the most stacked resumes in modern history. He's beating guys like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, and that's just to name a few. He's held belts at 154, 160, 168, and even 175. The Mexican superstar has fought more than 65 times as a professional fighter. An insane level of experience at the elite level. Yet, Terrence Bud Crawford brings something different to the table. Purity of skill. He's been undisputed at both 140 and 147 pounds. He also picked up a belt against Madrimov, for a subpar performance at 154 pounds. His switch hitting ability, his defensive prowess, and his ability to adapt make him one of the smartest fighters of this generation. He doesn't just win, he breaks his opponents down mentally and physically. Now, I believe the keys to victory for Saul Canelo Alvarez is smart pressure, cutting off the ring and using that left hook to the body that's been his career signature. At 168 pounds, his size, strength, and durability are weapons. If he can trap Terrence Bud Crawford on the ropes, he can make it a punishing fight. For Terrence Bud Crawford, it's about mobility, rhythm, and he needs to stay unpredictable, switching stances, controlling distance, and making Canelo miss. Terrence Bud Crawford's best chance is to outbox him, frustrate him, and take advantage of Canelo's slower feet. Mike Tyson summed it up pretty well. I want Terrence Bud Crawford to win, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Saul Canelo Alvarez is still really strong, too heavy-handed, and yet Teddy Atlas believed Terrence Bud Crawford's corner, led Brian Bomac McIntyre, could craft the kind of strategy that steals rounds and exposes Saul Canelo Alvarez's pacing. This is chess versus power. And if Saul Canelo Alvarez wins, he claims, as the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, only grows stronger. If Terrence Bud Crawford pulls off the upset, we may be talking about one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in history, 3-time undisputed. Let me know what you guys think about that fight in the comments below. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford, September 13th in Las Vegas, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. Moving from Vegas to Japan, Naoya the Monster Inoue, who is 30 wins, 0 losses, and 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. He defends his undisputed super bantamweight titles against Akhmadaliev. Akhmadaliev is 14 wins, 1 loss, and 11 big wins coming by way of knockout. On September 19th in Japan, Naoya the Monster Inoue is already a legend, undefeated with the knockout ratio over 90%. He's made world-class opponents look ordinary. He has speed, precision, and an uncanny ability to finish fights the moment he senses weakness or he gets hurt himself. But Akhmadaliev is a real threat, a southpaw with power in both hands. He's a former unified champion who lost the belts in a close fight that was a disputed decision in 2023. With 11 knockouts and 14 wins, he brings legitimate punching power and a relentless style. If Naoya the Monster Inoue makes any mistakes in this fight, Akhmadaliev has the tools to capitalize. This fight is intriguing not just because of Naoya the Monster Inoue's dominance, but because fans want to know, can anyone push him into deep waters? Will this be another night where Naoya the Monster Inoue reaffirms that he's in a class of his own? Let me know how you guys feel about that fight in the comments below. Naoya the Monster Inoue versus Akhmadaliev on September 14th in Japan. Now for the upcoming fights that you need to be prepared for. October 11th, we have Jaron Boots Ennis versus Usman Lima. Jaron Boots Ennis makes his super welterweight debut in Philadelphia in an IBO eliminator. Jaron Boots Ennis has long been seen as the next American superstar. Fast, explosive, and versatile. This is a big test to see if he can carry that power up to 154 pounds. Let me know what you guys think about that fight in the comments below. Jaron Boots Ennis versus Usman Lima. November 8th, we have Vergil Ortiz Jr. versus Erickson Lubin. Vergil Ortiz, undefeated with a perfect knockout record, puts his WBC interim super welterweight title on the line against veteran Erickson Lubin in Fort Worth, Texas. Erickson Lubin's experience will test Vergil Ortiz, but Vergil Ortiz's aggression and power have made him one of boxing's most feared young fighters. October 25th, we have Jesus Ramos versus Shane Mosley Jr. This fight is particularly interesting because Jesus Ramos, just 23 years old, is already a top contender at the super welterweight with a decent record. He's a southpaw with slick combinations and heavy hands. Shane Mosley Jr., son of Hall of Famer Shane Mosley, has been building his own legacy. He's got experience, range, and a sharp jab. This fight represents new blood versus a legacy fighter. Youth versus veteran. Whoever wins positions themselves for a title shot in early 2026. These fights, along with Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford, Inoue versus Akhmadaliev, make back half of 2025 one of the most stacked periods in recent boxing history. Let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comments below. Now let's switch gears because this story is making waves outside of hardcore boxing circles. Former UFC contender Darren Till has confirmed that negotiations for a boxing match with Andrew Tate are about 75% complete. Darren Till, who recently scored a knockout in the Misfits crossover scene, sees Andrew Tate as a big payday and a spotlight opportunity. Andrew Tate, meanwhile, brings his kickboxing background and his controversial persona to the mix. This isn't a world championship fight. It's more just spectacle than substance. But let's be honest, fights like this get eyeballs on the sport. And in today's combat world, that often means more opportunities for real fighters on the undercards to shine. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Andrew Tate facing off against Darren Till. And now for your favorite segment on this day in boxing history. On this day in 1909, Jack Johnson, the reigning heavyweight boxing champion, retained his title in a no-decision fight against Al Kaufman in San Francisco. A pre-fight agreement stipulated that if the fight went the full 10 rounds, it would officially be ruled a no decision. Jack Johnson dominated the action, even pushing hard to finish Al Kaufman in the ninth round. But Al Kaufman's toughness allowed him to survive until the final bell. Let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comments below. But that wraps up my segments for today. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss out on an update. But it's ZABoxingNation. And until next time, keep your hands up, and I'll catch you in the next one.